Hey,
Hi.
we're live.
Hey,
How are you?
Good.
fine.
Good to see
You?
you, Marcus. Good to see you, Guy and Gary. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you.
I was actually wondering how Gary would be turning up with what color hair he was going to reveal tonight.
I was thinking of pink, but
Because last time I ran into you was in Barcelona, I think.
could have been.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
maybe.
yeah. I don't you remember? We were in the I think in the same hotel, and then we met in the car, and then
Yes.
you
No,
took your
no,
head.
no. Madrid.
Oh yeah, sorry, it was Madrid. Yeah, and then you showed up with this massive blonde
Yeah,
bunch
I
of hair.
go through these phases of just wanting to completely change. You know. So who knows what's next?
Good stuff. And you're in your home in your studio or in your home right now?
I've got a little studio just outside of Glasgow. I actually live on the west coast of Scotland, but I'm in a little studio that I got maybe 4 years ago. It was like a small studio flat, and some of my friends converted it into a little studio with a shower room, another room there, and this, so it's perfect.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Shower
it's
in your
good.
studio.
Yes, with
That's a first.
multicolored lights and stuff.
That's a first, I think. A shower in the studio. I would fucking love a shower in the studio, to be honest. That's
Yeah, it's
amazing.
good. It's good.
And you, Marcus, you looks like your work on the studio is progressing because you just moved
Yeah,
recently as well, right?
exactly. Just building up my home studio. Yeah. So yeah, it's work in process. So let's see. I'm just waiting for some acoustic material. So yeah.
Oh, so you're going to put it like to make it like a proper acoustic treatment? Are you doing it?
Yeah.
Are you doing that by yourself, or do
Yeah.
you have
Yeah.
somebody?
Trying to. I'm trying to. So
And do you do that by ear, or just
yeah.
okay? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
So
always I've never really paid any money to acoustic, official acoustic treatment. It's just move your speakers and
yeah.
the bass traps until you think you have a clear sound. So that's how you're doing it as well.
Yeah, kind of. But I need some acoustic material because it's like the sound is really bright. So
Okay,
yeah.
but you haven't moved everything into the space yet either.
No, not everything. Just like a few pieces. I started to connect everything yesterday, 2 days ago. So yeah.
And do you already have sound?
Yeah. Of course. That's
The first thing.
that
The
was the
first thing.
first thing to do.
Nice one. And Guy is sitting in his studio or home. Where are you, Guy?
My home studio.
Okay.
So I have two studios. A little one somewhere else in the basement, and this one is in my house. And I'm more here than in the other studio. Because I like to. Yeah, I don't need to be in a basement if I don't need to finish tracks or anything. So just making stuff here and see what happens.
Right.
Nice.
And then do you have a kind of like a separation what you do at home and what you do in the basement? Like maybe do you
Yeah.
mix in your studio or something?
Do more there, but I also do it here. I mean, I do it for a long time already, so I know how to mix it up. Yeah, I can do it with a headphone or on shit speakers. I know what. Yeah, I know how it sounds a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and here I don't have acoustic treatment right now, and it's even. I think it feels even also good. It feels good to have it raw. Yeah, not to have it perfect. That makes it.
Yeah.
I like it raw in one way.
So the head behind you, is that part of the acoustic treatment in your home studio?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, it gives me a kind of power, you know.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. I see some friends showing up in the comments. If people who are watching this live have anything to ask us, then drop it here. Robin is here. Hey.
Hey.
Hi.
And let me see who else. I should be wearing my glasses, man. My eyes are getting. Here, people from the Discord server. Hey. So yeah, how's everyone doing with production these days? Because I found that a lot of things that I've been kind of postponing or shelving because of busy touring schedules, before we hit the COVID breakdown. There's a lot of things that I've been able to do which I hadn't had time for. Is that something you found as well, Gary? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been able to write a lot of music. When this whole thing happened, I think my mind was all over the place a little bit with everything going on, and I was going into the studio and just trying to write some stuff, but nothing was really coming. It just wasn't really happening, and I'm not sure if that was just a distraction of everything going on or something, but once it started to settle in, the whole situation, I just thought, well, the best thing to do is just get into the studio and just make music, make tunes, you know. So
do you find it has changed the way you approach the music that you're making, or are you still just thinking about functional dance floor stuff? Or
no, I've been making quite a lot of different things. I've got two kind of pseudonyms that I use. One is called Sosak, which is pretty heavy, you know. But I also have this little project called Tenera, which is just very kind of 120, slower, interesting, different things. I just throw anything into the track, and I've been enjoying doing a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I've been mixing it up quite a lot. And
cool. Well, you don't sound, your music doesn't sound like somebody who's confused or I mean, your output, your productiveness is just fucking staggering. You know, I've always I've always wondered, how can one guy do so many things at the same time? You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm lucky to be able to write music very quickly. I just have a process where I just do. So yeah, that means more output. So
that's interesting because many of the conversations we have here are about how to be productive, what to do and what not to do. For example, is there something you managed to figure out for yourself, how you can be quick with things?
Yeah, I just throw myself into it and start making anything, and even if it's not really happening after half an hour, I just move it straight into the next one, and I just kind of throw myself into it. And yeah, that's my kind of thought process, just to get right into the mood and the vibe, you know, and be creative. Sometimes it just depends, as you know. You can just have that feeling, and you can have that determination to do something, and sometimes you don't.
Yeah, but you don't force it, but it's basically just you set yourself a goal and then you get it done.
Yeah, just go in and go. Right. Just try. I don't try and think too much about what I'm doing. I just go in and turn on everything and just go for it. See what happens. Have a couple of wines.
What about you, Guy? Do you feel you always get something when you want something to happen, or are you more like somebody who goes back to things, or after you've started it, or how is there some process in the way you do it, or is it all?
For me, when I have like a plan or like a team, then I can work. I can go really fast. But if I don't have it, I'm just fucking around, you know. But if I know what I want to do, then I can make 30 tracks in the same style. But I have to have the image in my mind, and then I can finish it all. But yeah, it's not always that you have that in your mind. So then you can then I can't work in one way because I make music for 20 years, like techno. So in one way, I know I'm bored if I just start to make a beat or whatever. It have to be a project. Otherwise, I'm getting bored, you know. So then I can lose my imagination in the whole project. And otherwise,
So what you mean? You basically you said you make a frame or like a concept kind of thing. To work within, and you don't divert from that. You just set yourself in that direction, and then basically you start working on it. Yeah.
But otherwise, it's to say, I know how to program a cake, and I mean, but if I have my fantasy with it, then I can make it fit with my world or whatever you call it, you know. Yeah. So that's easy in that way. But you have to make projects all the time for yourself. Otherwise, there's nothing coming. I don't go to the studio if I don't know what to do, then I'm not coming.
Yeah, you don't even bother.
Because I need to know where I'm going, what I'm going. Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like also. I mean, I do sometimes take the liberty for myself to just noodle around and without a plan, you know, because it might be an occasion or a reason or a way to get to know some piece of gear a little bit better, or just have no plan and let the process guide you in a direction where it wants to be, basically. I find that those moments valuable as well, even though it might not even end up as a release or as something useful for you know, to incorporate into a show or whatever.
You mean? Just freaking around with some stuff.
Yeah, I mean the studio is one of the places I like to be most, you know, and as long as I can twiddle knobs or do something that is, I'm just obsessed with sound, you know, and I like to sometimes just fuck around without a plan, you know. Do you do that as well, or is it always something result based or
no? I but in the end, I fuck around and I smoke a joint and I fuck around all day, but in the end it comes to nothing, you know. And that's I can do that for days, but I did that so much when then I like to have a project. So it's do
you feel it's a waste of time if you do that?
Yeah, but I try to make it more for me. I try to make. I think everybody tries to make art, but I try to make something special for me, so I'm proud of myself again, you know. So I cannot do the same trick again because I've tried to do something new, and they have to be for myself, you know. So you have to.
You need a sense of achievement, basically.
Yeah,
that's what
So I'm proud again of that's what I did, you know. So it can be very simple a way of how it sounds or what it is, but if it's good in my mind, then it's good, I think. That's only for everybody, I think.
Yeah, so you rely on your own judgment basically as much as possible. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, sure. What about you, Markus? Do you fuck around?
Well, yeah. Sometimes, sometimes I do, but when I was on holiday, like in Denmark 2 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, I just took like a couple of stuff with me and just recorded. Like every day, I build up a small different setup, and I just recorded the sound. So yeah, but the idea is to build like a sample library from that. So I use that kind of fucking around
with a purpose.
for that.
Fucking around.
Yeah, exactly.
So how,
yeah.
what did you bring? Because you did you obviously you had to limit yourself to what you could take along. What was portable? Did you record sounds, or did you have synths, or whatever? What did you?
I brought myself a Lyra 8.
Okay. Nice.
Soxbox, which is like a 303 clone. TR8S and Strymon, Big Sky, and the delay is a big one. Timeline.
That sounds like enough stuff to make
exactly.
record an album with.
Yeah, let's see. So I don't know where it leads. I just recorded stuff. I didn't had a listen yet to it because I started to move directly after the holidays. So yeah, I had like 2 weeks now here and started to build the studio here.
Yeah. What are the speakers over there in the background? They look somewhat unfamiliar to me.
That's Klein and Hummel.
Okay.
092. Yeah. They are like 30 years old. Like, yeah.
Wow. Patton. Friends from Antwerp, guys. Hello. Robert and Dave. They were here too in the studio a while ago for one of the Stay Home sound system.
Great guys.
So Gary, can we spot something? Can we go train spotting in your place?
Okay, well, first of all, I must apologise for some of the things that I still use a Behringer 16-channel mixer. Which,
well, I mean, it's not what it is; it's what you do with it, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, as you'll find out, I'm not as kind of technical as most, but yeah, I mean, I've got my Rocket 8 speakers there, the FA06 as well.
Mm-hmm.
This is like my third microKORG. I just love my microKORG. I've always enjoyed having that and playing around with it. This is one of the first ones I got. This is the RS50 Roland synth, which is really old, but I use it quite a lot.
RS50, from what time is that? Is that virtual analog or something?
2000, yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. I've just got an old Electribe ER1 as well. This is something I don't really hook up too much.
Okay.
But yeah, my studio setup is it's basically like, I've not really strayed away from my original setup maybe 10 years ago. Kind of kept I still use a PC as well. So it's just something I'm really comfortable with. And I just sometimes add in little things here and there, just recording all the time. And then just running it through the PC.
I guess that's it's a encouraging thing for the people who are often among the people who watch this, who are totally gear obsessed and asking themselves, what are these people using to get all these productions done? Some of us, they are, just using one machine and just turning it inside out every time and know it really well and get amazing results.
I mean, this FA06 synth I've been using all the time. I just have so much fun with it, But yeah, for me, it's a very kind of simple setup that works for me. So unfortunately, in terms of the technical stuff, you might not get much from me. But I'm really happy with the setup I use.
Well, I don't think technical stuff is essential to be able to be productive.
I totally agree.
Again, it's whatever. The imagination is always the key thing if you want to get something done. I remember that key when we last talked. When you were still not revealing you were the guy behind Talismann. But just before that, yeah, you did this gig with us in Berghain. We actually chatted about this stuff, and I was amazed to hear that most of that stuff is all coming from an MC909, right? Are you still? Is that still your sacred machine?
Here I have two.
Oh, you have two.
Yeah.
Is the for when one breaks down, or are you using both at the same time?
I take them when I go on holiday. I take it with me. So, and I go to beaches and stuff like that. So, and it gets dirty, you know. So then I send it back to the.
What? Are you taking gear to the beach?
Yeah, I go to Thailand every year. And there I have like a beach bungalow, and yeah, the sea is very wild there, so it's not good for equipment. There's a lot of dust in the air and stuff like that. But it's for me, it's like my guitar, you know. So I can I make all the IDs I make in this machine, and if I have to, when I have to, I just play around with two machines and I mix, and some IDs I would not come up to by myself. They come up like suddenly when I mix different loops I made, then suddenly I have something totally new I never thought I would have, you know.
Oh, and because you combine the two, is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and they have SRX cards in it, you know, it's sample-based cards from Roland, the SRX cards, and they have both different kind of sounds, both Roland. So one has a acoustic sound, and one have like classic synth sounds. And it's for me. I have this machine for 20 years, so I can I know exactly what I can do with it, and I'm still learning stuff with it, you know. But yeah.
So it's basically I've never used one, but it's basically the sort of workstation Groovebox approach, right? So you can sample with it, sequence, do synth sounds. Yeah,
actually, you can do whatever you want. Basically, you can do everything. Almost everything what you want, you can do with it. But in the end, I record everything, of course, in a computer and start the equalizing there and make it sound how I want to. But the basic idea I do always there.
Yeah, so it's a writing machine basically. Okay. Yeah. And do you does it allow? Again, I don't know the machine, but does it have separate outputs, or do you?
One output.
Just a stereo. Just a stereo.
It has more output, but I use just stereo out. And then I record channel by channel if I want that, you know. But okay. I make mostly of the time I end up with just a few parts from the original ID that are still there, you know. From the things I made in the Roland, just a few parts are still in the track if I release the track, and the rest I did from other equipment.
Yeah, okay. But it's just your way to get like an idea running very quickly because you're fluent on the machine, and
I like to make it quick, minimalistic, very fast, good idea, you know. But
yeah.
So does it have a built-in battery then if you take it to the beach, or?
No, I need to put a cable with me. Like okay. A lot. When I go to Thailand, I bring like a long cable with me. And that's it.
I like the image that puts this in my head. You know, you walking around with a massive cable and an MC909 sitting on a Thai beach with a joint.
in the first years I came there, I was also always very paranoid that somebody would steal it, you know. But in Thailand, nobody. Yeah, it's very safe, you know. So I can leave it behind with a safe feeling. So that's good. And also one time I was on a different island and I had to take a long taxi ride to get to the boat to to Koh Phangan, where I always go on a very quiet beach. But in the end, after the taxi ride, I found out that my 909 was fallen off in the suitcase, in the flight case, on the way to the boat. But it was an hour drive, so we didn't know where. So we had to go back, search on the road where my MC909 was.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was like totally freaking out there. Because if I would go there without my MC99, I would go crazy, because then I have to spend time with myself, that would be crazy.
Yeah, you're right. It's in a way, it is your guitar. You just take it everywhere. And, maybe you can build a flight case in a guitar shape and travel with it everywhere.
Yeah, or a guitar MIDI controller to make it.
Yeah, that's funny. So yeah, Gary, you live near a beach too, right? So this might be an idea for you to continue your writing.
I'm gonna be down on the beach with all my equipment, freezing cold.
Yeah, dust might not be the issue there, though.
Yeah, definitely not.
Have you made music anywhere else than in your studio? Does anybody? I sometimes try to do something on the road, but usually it's just stuff that I can do within the computer and not really serious work, but maybe some sound design,
some ideas and stuff.
Yeah, not like real productions. I really need to be in the room and feel the vibe and have a good speaker set.
Me too. Yeah, I have to be in here or something,
What about you, Marcus? You've obviously already said that you did some stuff outside of your studio, but can you write stuff completely, or are you taking it back to the studio?
Like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I teach myself to do more on the laptop when I'm on the road. So that was kind of a hard process for me, because I always was used to have like a studio around me and really loud sound and stuff. So yeah, but when I finish, I always finish it in the studio. So the final stuff runs through the mixer, and so it's just basically to write down some quick ideas most of the time.
Yeah.
And that thing which I did in the holidays was really, really nice and inspiring. So I think I will do that also more often. Just take like 2-3 pieces of gear, go to another room or somewhere else, and just record that.
Yeah, this is something that
it gives you like kind of freedom, because you don't have like a tempo, like a clock running or something like that. So you just record the pure sound, like. Yeah,
that's something that's come up multiple times during these chats, that limiting yourself to just a few or maybe just one piece of gear can actually be very productive, because you don't have the problem of being distracted or by what if you get stuck, you can't resort to anything else. You have to kind of keep working on the setup that you are dealing with, and that way you force yourself to get something out of it, and it can actually be very revealing about yourself or about whatever you can do with a small setup.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw some. Where is it here? This is an interesting one from Tao. What's up, Tao? What desert island piece of gear? So forget the beach, but if you had to make a choice to just work with one piece of gear, I think I know the answer for Guy, but what would it be, Guy?
I think no, I'm joking.
The MC909 or the computer in your case?
With the MC99, of course.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I wouldn't know what to choose myself. I think I would hate to be restricted to it, but I think the computer would be the most versatile instrument of anything I have in the studio. I could say, you know, I could name my favorite synth or one of my favorite drum machines or whatever, but yeah, it's probably too limited to do something, you know, to keep interesting for such a long time. I don't know. I think I would say computer, but as or maybe I would say my speakers, because I would hate to listen on fucking crappy laptop speakers for the rest of my life. I'd rather. I don't know. What about you, Gary? Is there one favorite piece of gear or one thing you would never do without?
I would just like to take my 1210s. But then I would have no vinyl. So can I take vinyl with me?
Yes, you're allowed to take vinyl.
I would just take my whole collection and just, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so you would rather play music if there was no other choice than
yeah. I mean, if I was on a desert island,
you can use trees to make or you know, like things you find around to make drum kits and shit.
Coconuts.
Yeah, coconuts. Yeah, of course.
That's a tough question.
Okay, fair enough. And you, Marcus, is there something you would not live without or take as your one piece of gear, your only one?
I think I would also go with a laptop and a field recorder or a sampler and a field recorder.
No, you can only choose one.
Take the 909, the MC909.
I would take the MPC Live then. So,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the MC909 is actually it would be a good thing because that would, in my case, it would give me something to discover, to explore, and it has a wide
something
range.
New. I never worked on one, so
it's like a groove. I mean, it's basically an MPC or what? Yeah, something like that, but a little bit more toy-ish, I think.
Yeah, workstation type of thing. So in theory, you could do everything on it. So
computer, but very limited. I mean, you can only do one equalizer and that kind of shit, you know. So you cannot equalize unequalize. You could resample like, but then yeah.
So that 909 was the big brother of the MC303, and that there were a whole bunch of groove boxes in those days, right? There, I have this something 303, FX 303, or is it 303? FB 303? I don't know. It's the Roland. It's only the effects section from the MC 303 or 909, but with a step sequencer. So it's only a processing thing, and even though they sound absolutely crappy, in an interesting way, you know, it's like this 90s or 2000s digital cheap groove box effect sound, you know. But it's totally wild and very unpredictable, and it's an amazing instrument. What the fuck is it called again? I'll maybe people in the comments help me because I've talked about it before. It's
before my time, I guess.
I think it's around the same time. I thought the idea was, I think the idea of this machine was to have like modulated effects. It sort of works the same way as the modern Electron stuff. You know, you can have like 16 steps, and each step can change parameters in the effects chain. And yeah, it can be. Oh yeah, the EF303. Thank you, Tao. That's the one. Tao to the rescue. Yeah, so you know, it's one of those things that are, you know, technically very, very cheap and bad, you know, but it's a lot of fun to work with, and it's very quick, you know, like the groove boxes.
Oh yeah, I know this one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an ugly little piece of kit, but it's I love it. So let's see if there are any other people, we in the comments we can answer your questions. So if there's anything you want to ask us, please don't hesitate. Oh, there's another one. Oh yeah, of course, from Robert. How exactly would you get electricity on a desert island? Well, that's simple, right? Solar panel. That's always in my bag, so no problem.
So Guy, did you? Sorry.
About these groove boxes now. Sorry, Marcus, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, we're going on the groove box tip now. This is the time to get them. You know, they're worth absolutely nothing these days, and some of them are actually a lot of fun to work with. You know, these old things from those times, like the SU700 and the Yamaha RX series and everything. They're so quick. What did you want to say, Marcus? Sorry.
I just wanted to ask Guy if he just recently built his home studio, like because of the pandemic thing, or did you always also had like a workstation at home?
I had this studio at this place for 10 years, and then I moved in with my ex-girlfriend moved in here, and I had to move my studio. Before that, it was with acoustic panels and stuff. So I made a lot of music in this room. And then my ex-girlfriend, she moved out, and I brought back my gear slowly. So this, yeah, I like to work at home. It's for me, it works good because I can do something else in the meantime and hear it on the background and stuff.
Exactly, yeah. I love that too. I always had my studio at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also nice to have it somewhere else, but then it have to be a good space, you know.
Yeah.
My other studio is really small and no windows. Just feels very very prisonant.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I used to have a small room at my mum's house, and that's where my studio was. And my mum is a big techno fan, so I would be working on a track and stuff, and I would think it was good, but then you would hear the knock at the door, and she would peek her head in, and she would say, "That's shit." Start again. So I had to move.
Interview from Jeff Mills like a while ago, and then he talked about his mother that he was listening to his mother his track, and then she said it needs more bass, and I was so he redid it. Yeah, it's very funny.
That's funny. Yeah, if you have your studio at your parents' house, that of course they're gonna overhear what you do. The only thing I ever heard when I was still at my parents' house was turn it down. So I mean, in a way, it's good because you learn to listen and to mix on headphones too, you know.
And my studio here, it's above Hans Anders, and they exactly at my place they're doing a listening test. Test for people who can't hear. So they have a phone number and they call me. Yeah, we're gonna do the test right now. Can you quit it for 30 minutes?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw one thing. Oh, I lost it again. I was gonna ask you this too, Gary. From K10. Sub K10. He's asking you, how do you find these vocals for your tracks? Because I mean, your music is there's a lot of samples going on. Where do you have a way to track them or spot them, or how do you, is there a secret behind it?
Well, yeah. I mean, one thing that I've been doing over the years is collecting old vinyl from like charity shops and stuff. And I can find some old soul records, Motown records and stuff. And one thing I would do is I would always start by having a nice groove going on. And I kind of compare it to a sailing boat, right? This is quite sad, but I like to build the hull of the boat kind of thing, and that's like I see that as the kind of groove going on, and then I go searching or playing around trying to find the sails.
Mm-hmm.
You got me? So what I do is like I have a groove going, and then I'll maybe listen to lots of these old records and stuff, especially nice vocal ones or whatever, and maybe just something. It can just be the slightest kind of voice that hits. It just works with what you've got going on already, and I'll grab it and I'll take it and I'll sample it and I'll change it, I'll manipulate it, and then I'll maybe do whatever with it, and I can build the rest of the track around that. In terms of some of the other tracks I've done with the big vocals going on, I find some good stuff on Spotify actually, and a lot of the times, I mean, like I'll have a groove going on and I'll be listening to on Spotify, you know, there's everything there, and I'll maybe search for some old sort of soul vocals or whatever, and maybe something will work. And if it's a vocal where it's very clear, then I always get in touch with the label or whoever, the publishing, and see if we can use it for the record. And most of the time they say yeah. So
okay, so but you're saying that some of the stuff might be recognizable, but some of the stuff might be mutilated beyond recognition.
Beyond recognition, yeah. Right. If it's just a small vocal thing and you can put some delays on it and change it around, then you know nobody would ever really.
But it's a matter of actual scouting or searching for it. It's not something you have. There's no libraries going on or something.
No, not really. Right. I like to use my old. I've got so many old vinyls, and I just love skipping through on the 1210 here with a groove, and maybe just something. It'll be and I'll go, oh, that works, and I'll go back and take it and maybe try and just base the rest of the track.
You should do the Gary Beck vocal snippet sample library, man. People would love it.
Yeah, look, I've been told they're quite catchy. You know, I think I like to have a little vocal that maybe is quite, you know, defines the track, kind of thing. I've tried using my own vocals, and it's just you don't want to hear it. It's terrible, man. But I mean, there was one a soul singer called Ann Peebles I used quite a lot, and I just loved the combination of the groove I was doing and stuff with elements of her voice. And I ended up speaking with EMI about just working with her and stuff like that, and they said, you know, you use it, just split the publishing, you know. So,
okay, cool.
Okay. So I like working with vocals quite a lot, so, you know.
You did some collaborations as well, right? The last time I saw something you were doing something with DJ Rush. Yeah. Is that something you got together for in the studio, or did you do that?
No, we didn't. We did that from a distance. Yeah, we were speaking a little bit online, and I mentioned that I love his vocals in the track. I've always loved DJ Rush tracks, and there was a track called She's Fine, where basically I just asked if I could work with his vocals, and he said yeah, and then I just built the rest of the track around it, and then we did that same kind of formula with the recent one called Talkers. Okay. So I love his voice, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, his music too. I mean, I've been a fan from what he did from the early 90s or probably even late 80s, I think.
Very simple.
Like the very early,
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really driving stuff always.
It's very dirty, man.
Yeah, filthy stuff. Yeah, absolutely. So don't you find it hard? Because I collaborate a lot, but I find working online very difficult. You know, like or sending each other stuff back and forth, and you know, it feels. I've done it a few times, but it feels like there's more time spent on emailing and you know, chatting about things and you know, correcting small bits where you really don't care about, to be honest. You know, and then instead of just jamming together or doing something in physically in the same space.
I enjoy jamming as well with someone. It's good fun. As you know, I worked a lot with Tony Edit
Yeah.
Select in the studio. We did a lot of stuff together, and that was always really good fun. Really enjoyed that. But sometimes I like to just be in my own space, just doing my own thing with it. And if I feel it sounds good, I've not really had that situation with a collaboration where it's been both like tennis constantly.
Mhm.
It's normally a few bits back and forth, and it's done.
Right. Okay. So you also find to be quick in that field.
Even quick in that, yeah, quick in that, yeah. So
nice. What about you, Guy? Have you done collaboration? By the way, let's say hi to John. John, what's up, dude? Good to see you back here. Do you like to do collaborations? I don't think I've seen many. I mean, I saw that thing you did with the drumming ensemble.
Yeah, Slagwerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you manage that? Because that sounds like a colliding of two different worlds, and somehow you had to make it work. How did you go about that?
I was bored again, I think, and then I already had you have this Red Bull Studios here in Amsterdam, and I already made a reservation that I could work there for a period of time, and I didn't know yet what I was going to do there, and so I was writing down some projects I would like to do, and I didn't want to do some orchestra stuff, but I thought, okay, percussion would be nice, and I was searching around, and then I found Slagwerk Den Haag, and I contacted them, and first idea was to just make a record with some few loops, some techno loops, but in the end it was like 1 year of work. I was totally getting obsessed with it, and ended up like a mega project for me.
But, wow, a year! Wow.
Yeah, it was.
But it ended up being a performance.
Mm-hmm. Also, yeah, and then it totally get out of control with a visual artist, but the Helene Blanke was made a visual projection thing where we got money from the government to build it, but everything was too big in the project that it was not easy to get a show done because it was so complicated, So, I mean, it had to take 4 hours to build this thing to get the show done, and we didn't had any sound check or anything. So in the end, it was not selling. We could not do the show because it was too complicated.
Mm-hmm. But you did perform it at least once, I know of, right? So you couldn't. It was too difficult to tour with it, but it did. Yeah. It did happen, right?
2 times, yeah. But in Holland, then we had like a lot of time to build up the system, because and then we found out that it was not doable to do it.
Okay, but yeah, what I'm interested in, it sounds to me like a mega project. But well, I mean, logistically, it sounds like not a nightmare, but like a massive thing to pull off. But what I'm interested in is how did you manage to sort of unite the two languages? Because there's your side of things, and then there's this drumming ensemble who have their own way of communicating, their own sort of way of phrasing things. How did you approach that? How did you get that?
I was very lucky because these guys, they are really freaks also. So we even we don't speak the same language, we were speaking the same language. So I made like 20 loops in front, just one sound or one rhythm, just very minimalistic, and I I let them jam on top of it, and we recorded for like 3 days, and I got so many material. I still use it as sounds, as they what we recorded at that moment. But
did you take care of the recording as well, like the miking and the positioning and stuff?
At Red Bull, they did everything.
Okay.
Super sick studio there.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, with engineers and stuff. So it was really, like in the candy shop.
Yeah. So they basically play to whatever you were playing them. Like it was like you have like this thing going on, and they react to it. And was there any? Did you write things for them, or did they just improvise over top whatever you came up with? Okay.
But they are like super sick musicians. So yeah, they play with Steve Reich and stuff like that.
Wow.
I don't have to tell them anything, if I say just freak, sometimes I say just freak little bit less, and then it was better, because for them they want to do it as complicated as they can, but for me it's better to have some single shots also, so yeah, but it was really, really nice. I still use a lot of that stuff, of that recordings. It's my private sample bank as well.
Nice.
Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's really
so
cool.
you use that also on the new album, the percussion one?
Yeah, I use a lot of that stuff again, and because the Slagman album is the album I did with them. The first album is not really a techno album.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, and now I used it in a different way, but I use also a lot of drum machines, so it's more Talismann album, I think, than the other album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's really cool. Did you? I mean, you said they play Steve Reich stuff, so I assume they're incredibly tight.
Yeah.
But how did you ever get sort of conflicting timing? Because drumming to a drum loop is probably the hardest thing. It's probably even harder than drumming Steve Reich music.
They do it actually, but they do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Got to check these guys out. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that the something in my, I'm not allergic to it, but if something is out of time without being out of time on purpose, I always get itchy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably too autistic to allow that in my. I mean, there's just no way, or it's very difficult, or only very few musicians can play as tight as a computer or as a programmed beat or something.
But I think the album sounds much tighter because you can edit it, of course, so it sounds much better, but sounds much tighter, but the live performance, of course, is a little bit less tight, but
yeah, I'm not saying I don't like groove or human feel. It's just the combination, the clashing of the rigid electronic drums and then something looser over top. It's something that not always works in my perception. I'm not saying. I mean, but if it does work, it's amazing. But it's you have to have really, really, really professional and good musicians to deal with that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you work with Steve Reich, you go always, you have to play it really tight. These things are really every time a little bit shorter in the loop, so it's
they're like the measures overtake each other. So if there is one thing going on, there's a part which kind of slowly drifts out of the measures or the music underneath, and then it sort of catches up again, and that's just crazy. Playing 11 bars in 10 bars or the other way around, it's crazy. Yeah.
So you can, I learned a lot also from that, because you can use that in your music a little bit, in the background to make.
Yeah. So you picked up some ideas or techniques through that collaboration. Okay.
Yeah. Definitely.
Nice. That's cool. Yeah, I did listen to the album, but I should listen to it again now. I know how it all came together. But you're not planning to continue this because it's too complicated logistically, I guess.
We are trying to do it. Yeah, it's too complicated for me. I lost it. Then it lost my enthusiasm. How can you say it? If it's getting too complicated, it's like a relationship with somebody, with a girl, then it's not nice anymore, Then it could go natural, and if it's because there's also like, I hope they don't listen to it, but I mean, they have like 2 managers, they have like a creative director, somebody who's doing PR. I'm not talking to this artist by personal anymore. If I want something when we're touring, so it's getting too complicated for me too much stuff.
Have you ever done something like that, Marcus, with people who play acoustic instruments? No?
No,
Okay.
no. Would be nice.
Would you like to?
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because it's another way to work. Yeah. So you recorded with them like for 2-3 weeks, and the rest of the year was editing, or?
Yeah, 3 days.
3 days.
But I never worked. I mean, I say a year, but I was not a year full working on it. But sometimes let it go for a month, because then so I keep it clean, in my mind, because otherwise, I don't hear it anymore. But it was 1 year of editing and thinking.
Well, okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I see Gary shaking his head.
Like, yeah, too much.
You wouldn't have
I think that would bore me somehow.
Really?
Yeah, like this editing part over that kind of period of time. I don't know.
Nice to have it to I'm perfectionist in one way, to keep it minimalistic, and when you have like a basic thing, it's good, but it's not, you can't listen to it for a very long time, because then nobody can listen to the Billie Jeans for 3 years, the loop of I mean, you have to let it go, and from my opinion, and give it some rest and get it back. So you main idea that can be very simple, but you know what I mean, I think.
Yeah, I like that, but I think that wouldn't work out for me to do that, because I always try to be really fast. Like when I have an idea, I jam it, and if the track is not finished in 6-7 hours, I'm kind of bored.
Me too,
or I don't know.
Same.
I'm not the person who takes that project like for a couple of weeks and to perfect the stuff, like I don't know. I think it bores me, or maybe I have the feeling that I could do more if I don't edit that much and stuff. Yeah. So.
But
I think I'm like that too. I guess if it doesn't come quickly, starting something new is more exciting and less draining than trying to fix something which isn't working.
Yeah, and then you can go back to that idea maybe at another time.
Later.
Yeah, when you have enough distance again, when there's when it's almost sounds like something new again. Then it's.
I love that. I love that discovery when you go back through and you listen to some things. What's that thing that I say then, and you hear it and you think, oh, that's actually quite good, and you have a whole fresh approach to it, and you can sometimes make something really good from it. So I like that approach as well.
Don't you think so? For me, finishing a bit like an album or something, it's painful in a way for me.
Yeah,
it hurts, So that's one part of the process that it really hurts to finish it, because you heard it so many times, and but you got to get to the end of. You have to finish it, and you don't want to think afterwards. Why did I do it that way? So it really hurts every time. And I say,
you mean it hurt? It's a struggle. That's what you mean. It's a struggle. Yeah, it's. I guess that's part of art. Yeah, I mean the struggling artist. That's the thing. It doesn't. If it would just fall in your lap, it wouldn't be fun.
No, exactly. And but always, when I start a new project, I said this time I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna keep it very easy, very simple, and then in the end I'm like,
doesn't go that way.
Weeks on the same shit in the studio. Yeah, it's a process. Yeah.
How was it with the percussion one? Was it like directly from the beginning the idea to do like, okay, I do 30 tracks now with this kind of idea, or?
It was. I started this. I made all these tracks in the lockdown. So in the beginning, I made it in 3 months. I did this. No, the idea started basically when I was. The lockdown began in what was it, March? Yeah, and I knew I had a Deckmantel podcast in June.
Mm-hmm.
I've not immediately thought I want to do it like that, but after a month,
you want to do something special, or
and then I thought, okay, I'm gonna do only unreleased tracks, and then and then from there the process started. Okay, so I was already doing a lot of tribal tracks I did for the last year, but they never came to a project or something.
Yeah.
And suddenly everything came together, and I made more tracks and loops and stuff. And then finally, it had to be all these tracks in this podcast. So I had this project, and I also had a deadline, So I had to finish I had to work in the last month. I was like only in the studio, for like every day. You know how it works all day. But I'm happy that it had a deadline. So you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I was.
So you had a point where you had to be finished.
Otherwise, I was still working on this shit,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the concept, and I also like the podcast because I listen to it like every second day right now since it was released.
Nice.
I really like the concept.
Yeah.
Really
and it's
nice.
gonna be maybe I'm gonna do. I mean, there are 30 tracks now, but maybe I will do another 10 tracks. I can make more parts of it. But yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Did you hear it, Jochem?
I discovered it when we talked about doing this, and I haven't heard it all, but it's a really nice way. It's a really nice way to set yourself a goal and get something done. I mean, I've also thought about ways of doing this. Like sort of this method of maybe putting out an EP at the fixed date every start of the month or something, just to get.
But you did your. I mean. With the loops, like a long time with Loudboxer, right? I mean, that was it a mix or was it not a mix? Also,
yeah, it came out on CD as a mix, or as a continuous album, and on vinyl it came as a collection of 200 locked grooves.
But it's a long time ago.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's 2002 or 2001. It's but I didn't do that. I did the album after I toured with the music for a while. So I had these. It's coming back to the Groovebox subject again. I had these two SU 700s that I used to play a live show, and basically every weekend before I went on tour, I made a few extra loops in it, not really loops, but sections or things that could become a track, because it allowed you to have a bunch of loops, a bunch of one shots, and assign a knob to each track with any parameter of any effect or anything inside the DSP. And so it's basically I described them at the time as a 303 with 4 samples. It's like it is very grooveboxy concept, but it's so flexible that you can basically turn one thing into another completely, like you can these days with an octa track. You can start with something and end up in a completely different territory with the same samples loaded, and you can manipulate them to the extreme. Anyway, so I did some new tracks every time I went for gigs, and then built like a massive arsenal during a year or something of stuff that I played out, and I never recorded them, but they kind of found their ultimate shape or form after performing them for so many times. And then I went to the studio and recorded the tracks, which became the Loudboxer album. So it's like a reverse way of working how you would normally do it. Normally it's you work on an album or on a series of releases, and then you take them on the road. But this was the other way around, which was great for me because the albums I did before that time were in the traditional way. So and those were in the times when there were massive waiting times, before your stuff got released. So you got the music finished, then it gets in the release plan, and the whole fucking promo wait and stuff like that. And then after 8 months, your album is out, and then you have to tour with the music that you are sick and tired of for the last year. So this was my way to avoid that situation again, to end up in that cycle. To end up in that same cycle. And it was more, sort of got more freedom to do things. And I wasn't really setting out to do a dance floor album, which but it was just because I was working with these loops in a dance floor environment that they found their ultimate form in the shape they ended up on the album. So that was an interesting approach, but I never approached that in a way that you are doing it now, like every week I should do a track. It was a more natural progressing thing. Yeah.
Okay, so you just played live at that time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when did you start DJing?
I think I've always DJ'd, but I've never really done DJ sets which were exclusively DJing. Like I've never.
So it was always like hybrid.
Yeah, even in the early days, I used vinyl in a 909. So
Nice.
I was basically just playing records and then try to sync the 909 with whatever record was going on, and then do like a 10-minute 909 thing, and then mix in the record again. That was very, very early stages, but I don't think I would. It was messy but fun. And after that, I started doing more sort of taking more gear on the road, like the old school setup with a 16-channel desk and keyboard stands and shit like that. More like the Orbital Underworld style. Like with lots of shit on the with hardware sequencers and stuff like that. And when I started incorporate, I only got interested in doing sort of mix it up with other people's music when the first version of Tractor came out. So you could play anything, not restricted to whatever was on the vinyl, but you could basically play any sound file with the timecode records. Then I was like, okay, I should try this because it's I don't have to produce everything that I play live in before I go on stage, but I can also use bits or entire pieces of other people's music, and that's how I got into DJing. But and still to this day, I don't really do any full just classic DJ sets. It's always some hybrid thing going on with an octa track or with layering things and mixing things up. I always have the feeling I'm cheating if I'm just playing a record from start to finish. I'm like, yeah, now what? And you can sort of get into the whole sort of mimicking DJ routine with like really sort of big movements and just taking out the bass and blah blah blah.
Yeah, you've never really done that, have you?
No, I don't know. It's not. Yeah, like I said, it feels like I always need to. I have the feeling I always need to manipulate something, or do something with whatever I'm hearing. I want to control, or not control, but I want to have some influence over the flow of things or how things are progressing.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm totally blown away by people who can do that. I'm not. It's not something I'm against or that I don't think is can be interesting. I mean, there are some people who are absolutely amazing, or picking the right thing at the right moment, and it just finally making amazing transitions and stuff. But it's I'm just not good at that, and I don't feel.
There's been times I've been watching you play, Joachim, and it'll be like such an amazing moment of tension, and then the beat comes back in, and a lot of DJs, their hands would be everywhere, going, but you've just got this straight face, just like. But
I'm always watching like maybe 6 or 7 things at the same time. So it's there's I do have the
like total.
I'm sure one time I saw you do this.
Yeah, well,
Once.
yeah, I must have been drunk then. No, but I mean there are several ways of communicating. I don't feel that I don't think. I mean, it looks like I'm sort of not making big gestures or physical gestures, but I do definitely feel a connection or a thing going on in the room, and once people notice, okay, this guy isn't really waving at every breakdown or whatever, they seem to accept it, and it just sort of focus on the music a bit better,
It's perfect. It's perfect.
I don't know, it's again, there's no final and only one way to do it.
But I'm kind of the same like you. I always look like
faceless techno bastard.
Yeah, like a bored guy. Yeah.
No, but I mean, there is definitely many ways you can go about it, and what I really take notice of is the how the vibe in the room is. That is something you learn over the years, I mean, even though I'm not looking at them, I always can reach the people in the back of the room as much as the people in front, and it's I think maybe the job is not the right word, but your part in the entirety of playing to a room, whether it's a big or a small one, is to help create the atmosphere and the mood for the people who are there enjoying themselves. And there are many factors that are part of this chain of things that are going on. It's like the sound system, the lights, and of course probably the most important factor is the people themselves. And if you can somehow align all these things by creating the right atmosphere at the right moment, and everything starts to fall into place, and things align, and things are synced up, and that's the best result you can get for any performance. And some people's tactics is to invoke a reaction by being very physical, and other people are more kind of communicating on a more subliminal level. And I think both are fine, but I usually feel more comfortable kind of pushing my communication on a more sort of unconscious level, and just leave more space for the imagination of the people who are enjoying it. And keep them captivated nonetheless, but in a more less sort of acrobatic way.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like, I'm not. I don't feel like comfortable when I wave with the hand or something like that. That's not me.
I think I was maybe when I first came through maybe 10 years ago, I was a little bit guilty of dancing like I don't know, like a seal.
Well, but you are a very animated person, you know. It's just whatever fits your personality. You're an animated.
But
and
it
suits you. Yeah.
I mean, the older I get, the less I dance.
The less
around,
you're moving.
You know? I hurt my back, you know. It's like, oh no, it's I think I was just a bit like taken aback at the beginning with everything, and I love being in the crowd as well at that time, so I couldn't help but sometimes lose myself a little bit. But the more you do it and stuff, definitely the more you becomes more focused on the music thing, you know. Well, it always has been, but just less animated, you know, like you say.
Yeah, you are not you're not the type of jumping around DJ or performer either, right?
No.
I saw the last time I saw you was at school when you were doing your live show, and it blew me away how fast the tempo was.
Oh yeah, but that was nothing yet.
Really?
I go now. I'm at the point I play. Sometimes I go to 160 BPM, but I go back and forward like.
Okay.
Like I used that was the first Talismann show I did in the school. I think when you played, played with you. So after that I did many more, and it's a bit of my style now to play a lot with the BPM to make it wave.
Okay.
And at the point where you cannot go any further, then when it's really too much, then I come with a soundscape. I always use the same soundscape in one way because it fits always. And then it's like it can be 1 or 2 or 5 minutes of nothing, and then I can build it up again till we can't go any further. You know, like a sort of something. Yeah.
Do you use the MC909 when you play live?
I did it a few times, yeah. But when I played with you, it was the first DJ set I did there. It was a DJ set then, and I used the 99. But after that, I worked with the 3 CDJs and a 909. And now I'm not using the 909 anymore because I basically played kicks and hi-hats and snares and not playing songs with it. So I can also do that with the USB with some loop.
Yeah, okay, but you use the CDJs as samplers then, really, just with your own material and just layer stuff. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but that was not fast, I think. Yeah. But yeah, you like to play it more slowly, I think. I mean, when you were younger, you played it faster.
No, it's it varies, you know. It's I've always also recently restarted the Public Energy shows, and they are like 150, 160 as well. So just bang it out. I love it.
Then when it's so fast, you cannot stand still anymore. You know, it's like too much energy coming in your face when it's above 138 or something. You know, then it's getting really
Well, it's also physically harder to dance to, I think, for people. But but the energy can be absolutely incredible when you go those. Yeah. Have you done, I know Markus has been recently starting doing live sets, but have you done live sets, Gary?
I haven't. No. It's something I have thought about. I would love to do something live with kind of performers a little bit, you know.
Okay.
The more sort of band thing. I will do that. I do plan to do that in the future. But I love the idea of composing music that you can bring in some musicians to actually do a kind of show with. I don't know. I just love DJing so much. Just kind of that's what I like doing. But yeah, it has crossed my mind at times. But as of yet, no, I've not done
So how would you did you actually really think about this, or is it just something you kind of or you postponed in your mind and it's not a concrete thing?
Yes, I mean it's something I definitely I'm going to do. You know.
But you mean like what kind of instruments would you?
Guitar, the kind of traditional stuff, guitar, the drums. You know, I've always loved some kind of like band traditional type music. It's totally different to this, but it's something that I would love to do.
And what would be your part in the whole thing then?
I would write the songs from, you know,
and then sit in the dressing room waiting for the show to be over.
Yeah, basically. No, I would write the songs. I would kind of come up with the guitar parts and stuff like that, and just drum rhythms or whatever, and kind of go in with some friends and try something.
But your part in the show, I mean, like, would you be one of the musicians? And
my guitar playing is getting a lot better. So I definitely
Seriously?
plan. Yeah, I mean, even through lockdown, I've just had the acoustic just
all
the time. So I'm improving at it, but I'm not at a level yet to actually go up there on stage and start playing. But it's something that I love to do. I love to have that group environment, going to play a show. So yeah, hopefully in the future that's something I'm going to do.
Let me know, man.
I'm going to do. Yeah,
I'll be there. I'd love to see you play guitar and. Yeah, it's interesting. Cool. Okay, let's see if there's anybody. Sorry, this is the same every week. Just ignoring the people here in the comments. Oh, this might be interesting. From K10 again. How do you sort your music library for your DJ sets? Do you carry, or you just bring the same stuff and just pick them at random when you're on stage?
Yeah, obviously record box. I just I tend to start a new month, a new folder, kind of for each month, and it just changes over each month the kind of group of tracks, you know, that I want to play, and then you've got the advantage of going back into the folders and playing old tracks or whatever. But that's how I kind of do it, just monthly, just change the playlist kind of thing.
Yeah, same for me. I use for playing with USB, I use Rekordbox, and I also sort everything by months, like every promo I get, I put in there. Also, everything I bought, but in another folder. And then normally I do like playlist for every gig, where I just put the interesting stuff from the promos and so on. And then I still have the lists from the last gigs. And when I'm in the club, I'm like, okay, 2 weeks ago that track worked really well, so I go there in that playlist.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of a way how I organize it. Yeah,
I organize it more in genre, like
okay,
very hard or relax or groove or tension or break.
Oh,
what was that?
I don't know.
I heard a window crashing or what?
Yeah, I think that was my girlfriend, and then the dog was barking. So
she did not open the door. She went through.
I do it more that way, so I feel what kind of fight there is. I want in the club, and I go to the map. If I feel the kick is too much straightforward, I go to the map offbeat. If I feel I need tension, I go to the map with tension, and I build it up from there, basically. That's how I work.
So you basically choose only a starting point, and then you let the rest happen according to how the night develops.
yeah, I'm really trying to feel what I want, how the club feels.
Yeah.
It works the best for me. Otherwise, I'm really just doing something, and it sometimes it doesn't work if I don't get feedback. I need feedback, So if I don't get not the right response, then I'm getting stuck in that position.
Yeah.
But if it works really good, then it's my way to do it.
Yeah, I don't. There's no dog barking this time.
I would check. Wait.
Yeah.
Synchrotron asks, "What is Rekordbox?" It's I guess maybe Gary or Guy explain what Rekordbox is, because I'm not the Pioneer guy.
It's just a software program to from Pioneer to put your tracks in. I do. Rekordbox is just the software of Pioneer to
organize your music.
I don't organize it. I organize it in iTunes, but you can do it in there as well. And and it preloaded, so the CDJ already knows what's going on with the track, basically. Or can somebody say it better?
No, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's just an organizing tool, I guess. Yeah, I'm not so organized, I guess. I just throw in the whatever I add to my library into a recent folder, and when that gets to about 50 or I don't know 60 tracks, I start a new folder. So it is in different folders, but there's no system to it. There's just a way to keep track of what was added to the library when, sort of like date kind of thing. But once it gets into Tractor, I write stuff in the comment field. There's a comment field you can use in audio files, and like you would in the past write some stuff on the vinyl if they would come with a disco bag. There was no picture you could recognize the record by. I would write something on the sleeve, and that's that is still how I mark my tracks. So I usually after playing them 2 or 3 times, I don't even know what the record was, which has often caused some hilarious situations. It's like people coming into the booth, yeah, thanks for playing my track, man, and I'm like, oh, yeah, yeah, thanks, really great track. Anyway, so I'm not organized like that, but what I do tend to do is finding things which I haven't played before. Like maybe for a night I would select 25 things that I've never played before, whether they're new or they're just still sort of unused things, and then that's for me a way to throw myself into the deep end. Like I just start the track, and then so it's kind of new for me as well, and unexpected. And I usually thrive on moments like that, when something is happening that I can't predict, and I have to. Sometimes it goes horribly wrong, and I have to work my way out of it. But usually, those are the moments which end up being interesting. Or, I'm not taking massive risk anyway, because everything is synced in a way, and you can, if things start to be weird, you can loop it and sort of go with that, so it's but it's a way to create some sort of a problem or an issue, so I have to manage my way out of it. I like those moments, when there are things you have to solve. That's usually what I really enjoy doing.
Solving.
yeah, it's like the opposite of being organized. It's like being deliberately unorganized. Just to have something to do. Eh?
Yeah.
Sorry?
It quite exciting. It makes it quite exciting as well when that
I'm
happens.
not saying I'm doing it all the time, but I mean, sometimes I also go back to things I know that are going to work. If there's like things when you throw it on, it's going to have some effect, or it's going to have it's going to do something that you can rely on. But I mix it up with things that I that I can't rely on, deliberately to create that tension and that sort of struggling moment, or something that sort of puts everything in a different perspective, And if you're careful and with doing that at the right moment, and usually it's not at the beginning of a set. In the beginning, I usually start as if I was already playing for 2 hours, just go straight in, bum,
Straight
and
in,
then, and then sort of start to take maneuvers along the way, and end up in territory which you haven't covered before, or where people don't expect things to go, and that's something I do by just throwing in random things that I don't know the outcome of. Keeps it interesting.
You still play with 2 laptops, or is it already on one?
Yeah, I have one laptop with a Tractor, which I use as a sampler, and then I have an Octatrack, which I use to program things in real time. So it's just a step sequence loop, and I don't sync them up. They're just running on their own clock. They're pretty much running in sync most of the time, but sometimes you have to kind of push and pull the things to get them aligned. And the Octatrack takes care of sort of the extra drums I'm programming, and also the effects. So I have two effect ins and outs, 2 stereo effects, which can be changed and manipulated. So it's pretty flexible.
Nice.
So, Joachim, have you ever had a gig where everything has just gone completely wrong?
Completely wrong
with your equipment and stuff, and it's just crashed and stuff like that. Have you ever had that before?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are not. I mean, there's these power cutoffs you get sometimes, when everything goes silent and the lights go out, but people can actually notice that it's not the fault
not your fault.
Or people, they trip over a wire and the power goes off on stage or something like that.
Oh yeah, they look back at you as if
But I must say that I haven't had my stuff crashing for a long time. I think there's a few instances when the Octatrack crapped out because of humidity, and it's kind of sensitive like that. If it gets too hot and humid, it can act a bit weird. But then it still has I still have the music coming out from of Tractor to rely on. It's a little bit less dynamic, but it's show still continues. But I haven't had I don't know. Can't remember anything really when I had to really stop because nothing was working. I don't think that ever happened to me, to be honest. Or it might have, but it must be a very long time ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
But in recent years, like recent, I don't know, 2 decades, I haven't any crazy things happen. No.
Cool.
You? I mean, I hear a lot of people who play on CDJs that can be unreliable.
Yeah, sometimes they just stop. They decide not to play your music anymore. It's completely out of your control. But yeah, I've had a few of the power cuts off and stuff like that. But
then if one CDJ craps out, you still have 2 or 3 other ones to.
It's normally not too bad.
Yeah. You, Marcus, any big scares on stage?
I remember one time, I think it was in Italy, I just started my set, and like 2 minutes after I started, the emergency loop and the CDJ came up, and I was like, what the fuck? Because I never had that before. So yeah, that's the only situation I can remember where I really was like, okay, what's going on here? So, but luckily, I think that was the only time that happened.
Well, at least it does give you an emergency loop. Otherwise, it would have been silent, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it going on forever, or is it?
Yeah, it goes on forever.
Okay.
So it could also provide a toilet break.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do any of you have toilet records? I have some. I have a little folder of toilet records, like 15-minute tracks. Because some places you can just go backstage, but other places you have to make your way through the crowd, and you never know what's going to happen on the way to the toilet. What people are asking for autographs or pictures and shit like that. You could end up in somewhere back in the club without a way of getting back to the stage.
Once I played Berkheim, I think it was the first time, and I had to go to the toilet. I played Armstrong, your track.
Oh,
so
great track.
It's a real pee track.
A what?
Yeah.
A real toilet track.
Yeah. Why is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's Armstrong is like 10 minutes or something, isn't it?
Could be. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I only if when I usually don't really play my own records, but now when I do, well, one of the ones that I do play is that one because it's so tooly, it's easy to fit in anything.
Yeah.
And it sits, sits in between many styles. It's easy to combine with stuff. But I never played beyond the break, to be honest. That last 5 minutes could have been ditched from the track, I guess.
You can always press the wrong play button. That's also, I did it a few times.
That's also happened once. Yeah.
You press the wrong track, and then the whole track is gone. So you know what I mean? When you press, and then you lost the whole track also.
Yeah.
That's terrible when that happens, man.
I drink a little bit too much or too much in the zone and not thinking anymore, then I am like a wild beast pressing the wrong buttons, But yeah.
Yeah, I now remember I did mess up other people's sets sometime though. Because I'm always bringing my own gear and then I have to unplug it after I finish, and there's always the risk, especially when it's cluttered and messy on in some some of the clubs are people are coming to the booth and leaving again, so at some point it's just a fucking spaghetti mess of wires. And then it's like, is this the right one? Fingers crossed. And I can remember one or two times when I just unplugged the mixer of the or the whatever. Yeah, sorry about that. But that happens, I guess. Let's see if there is anything going on in the comments, people. Sorry to be ignoring you. Feel free to continue with the horror stories, by the way, guys.
Yeah, I think that happened quite a lot to me when you're finishing your set and then someone who's using the laptops and they've got all the cables and they'll just come right in front of you while you run your last couple of tracks with the elbows going everywhere. And that's happened to me where they pulled out the wrong cable. I'm like, what the fuck? I hate that.
Oh well, keeps it interesting. Let's.
You still play with laptop, Gary Beck? Or?
Not anymore. No, I'm on the 3 CDJs.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of just I lost faith in the laptop a little bit. I don't know. I just I gave it a go of just using the CDJs and the USB record box, and I loved it. I really enjoyed it. So I decided not to continue with using the laptop anymore. So yeah.
Are you?
DJs? Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, like 2 or 3 DJs and 2 technics. That's my
Okay. Yeah.
setup. Yeah. And then I have Looper, the Cyclops, Red Eye, the one. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you try and use the 1210s everywhere you play, or do you find some of the decks are just not up to a good standard?
Well, when I play somewhere for the first time, I just bring like maybe a handful of records with me.
Yeah.
Because I had it a couple of times where I had like 2 record bags with me. Then I arrived and the turntables didn't work or something.
Yeah.
So, and if I played there already and I know, okay, they are in a
strong
good
condition.
shape. Yeah. So then I bring more. Yeah. But it depends, like, in what kind of mood I am and.
Yeah, it's too bad that it's become such a technically unreliable thing because playing with vinyl. I mean, it is a lot of fun, but it's sometimes you just run into setups or record players which are just absolutely crap.
Yeah.
You did this 4 decks thing for Boiler Room, didn't you?
Yeah. That almost turned out to be a nightmare as well because of the setup.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember you told me about that. Yeah, but it was
amazing. Yeah, it was cool to do, and I would love to do more of that, but I'm not sure if it needs to be in a environment where things are definitely technically working, because it's not the final set with fully produced records. It's the records that I cut myself with just parts of music, like some of them are locked grooves and others are just a beat loop or a sort of an evolving synth part or whatever, and then I mix everything up and it's becomes like a story. But it's I do need the 4 decks, otherwise it would just be a baseline just hopping along without anything, So there with that setup, it only works if there are 4 pristine, technically 100% record players, and I did for that occasion I did get them, but there was something that was unplanned. I did get the sound check, and I did get I've managed to get the feedback all working out fine, and got a nice section behind me where I could put the records where nobody could touch them, because it's so sensitive, it's really. But then somebody lost his flight slot, and when I came back to the venue. The whole setup was put under the table. Everything was disconnected because they had to make room for the last minute somebody who was replacing somebody else. And I think that was it. That was the reason. Anyway, there was not enough space. And the idea was to just leave it after soundcheck, just the way sound checks, But so I had to, how Boiler Room is. There's like fucking everybody's in the booth, and I had to put everything back, and everything was tilted and horrible and everything. So it was challenging. I kind of managed to just about, but it could have been more interesting and more smooth. But it was a venue which hadn't been used before for events either. So when they put in the sound system and all these people, like decades of worth of dust came down from the ceiling. So every time I put on a record, after like maybe 20 rotations, the needle would have already be completely sucking up all the dust and kind of sort of move to the mix. So it was hard work, but I'll do it again when the circumstances are right, for sure. It's a fun way to play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
was
like
amazing. I thought it was
like
great.
it's like using loops in Tractor or on CDJs, like you guys do, but on vinyl, and it makes it all a bit more sort of organic and sort of lively. Let's see if there's we only have we already an hour and 45 minutes, guys. That's crazy.
It's almost bedtime.
Yeah. Are you falling asleep?
I go to bed early always.
Yeah.
Days. No, yeah, around 11, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I figured you would be more like a night guy, a night owl.
And
Okay.
So you produce during the day then?
yeah. I'm the most productive in the morning, actually.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
Okay.
A fresh day, all day, and then for a few hours, and then have a little break, and then back. But then in the evening, I want to do something stupid like watching movies or empty my head. And the nighttime is always you get more alcohol and stuff like that. So for me personally, it's getting too dangerous in that environment. So better in the morning, fresh and fruity.
Yeah, I guess the jobs like, or not jobs, but things like writing and doing the necessary things to get something done are done best during daytime or in the morning. But sometimes it's also nice just to, like I said earlier, just to fool around and do things, just to do the just mess around with gear or coming up with new ideas or things like that, or make a new patch. That's something that I always like to do in the evening, because then I don't know, the whole feel of the day when everybody's already sleeping, it also creates some kind of peace in your mind, and you can just take time and do things that are not necessary but still fun and often very productive too. So yeah.
What do you do how does your day schedule mostly look like this in the Corona times then now?
For me?
Yeah, for you?
Well, get up and then usually do some admin stuff, just daily, just routine kind of things. And then in the afternoon, I usually walk the dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I either make dinner or go to the studio. But most nights I'm in the studio, most evenings. And sometimes when I have a thing to finish, I go earlier in the day, go in the morning, and then spend the whole day until I think I should go home. When things start to slow down and be less productive, then I usually call it a night. I'm not forcing anything to, but yeah, things. I just let things happen when they happen. In terms of getting things done in the studio. But yeah, it's a nice place to hang around. There's room to breathe here. It's a space where you can actually spend a lot of time before you get bored or feel that you.
Would love to see it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I'd love to come. Check
Yeah,
it out.
you're all invited. If you can make it over here, for sure. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
Marcus was thinking of maybe making it over here at some point, because you can drive.
Yeah, it's like 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah,
maybe when I finished the studio, and then I will go to you and.
Well, maybe do some work in your own studio first, I guess.
Yeah.
Find out how it works.
Let's see.
No, but you're definitely you're always welcome, for sure. And you too, Guy, and of course Gary too. But it's a bit more complicated these days, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Have you been on the mainland since March or April? Have you been into Europe or
nowhere? Nope.
No.
Just Scotland.
Yeah.
Not a bad place to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, Scotland is just beautiful, you know, the mountains and stuff. We've had quite a good summer as well, so I can't complain. I've been doing a lot of mountain climbing and taking my dog on huge walks and stuff, and it's not all been bad. It's been really good doing all these other things that I wouldn't usually have done, you know.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, man.
You got financial support there in Scotland?
Yeah, they've got the furlough scheme going on, so that's helping a lot of people out at the moment. Yeah, so, but it's going to be really, really hard times ahead, I think, for a lot of people when they stop this furlough scheme and then people lose their jobs, and it's just going to be terrible, you know.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, personally, I don't really mind not traveling as much, but yeah, it's gonna be strange for everyone. I guess the good thing is that we're all in the same boat, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But in the meantime, I guess staying productive is probably a good thing to do, you know.
Yeah, I think you have to for your
absolutely,
you know?
Yeah. Okay, let's see if there's any more urgent things going on in the comments, people. If you want to ask something specifically to one of us, do it now, and we'll see if we can drag in your question. And other than that, I think I should ask all of you, Gary, Marcus, and Guy, if there's anything you're working on and you want to share with people. You want to plug anything? Gary, are you?
I've just finalised a new. It's a 5-track record that's just been finished. So that's been sent away. And also I'm doing stuff under my Sosak name, and that's a 5-track record coming out in Prodigal Son. That's coming out next month, I think. So yeah, stuff coming out. No, it's not relentless, like I said, but you know, there's stuff coming.
Cool.
Sure.
Looking forward. On Beck Audio, I guess.
On Beck Audio, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And you, Marcus, you've got something coming up?
Actually, there's a new record coming out next month on a Cologne-based label called I'm in Love. And yeah, when I finish my studio, I think I will try to realize some projects which I wrote down the last couple of months. I just collected a bunch of ideas and for projects. So let's see what I can realize and whatnot. So
cool. Sounds good.
Yeah.
And Guy is obviously doing his series. Is that something you are continuing for a while?
Yeah, it's just the part 1 is just on pre-order now, and I think people can, if they didn't hear it, you can still listen to the Dekmantel podcast. It's all unreleased tracks from this percussion series. And I think the first one will be released in October, November. So yeah, I gotta spread it all out a little bit for the corona. So I'm gonna spread it after, I think, in 1 year or something, pre-releases, and there are like 10 tracks on each release or something. So yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. So if anyone wants to add something, I don't know. I think we've covered everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, it was great hooking up and catching up again.
Yes.
And thanks for being here. Let me see. No, I just saw something. I lost it again. Anyway, let's call it a day. And thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here. And
Thank you.
Good to see you. And see you soon, sometime.
Ciao.
Hopefully.
Ciao,
Okay.
ciao.
Bye.
Bye.
Ciao.